July 2025. Astronomers spot a new visitor from beyond the stars, 3I Atlas. At first, it looked like a rock, but then it pulsed with heat, whispered in radio waves, and even changed direction. Some say it's natural, others fear it's not, and it's coming closer. When scientists first examined ATLAS closely, the anomalies became impossible to ignore. Unlike comets or icy rocks, ATLAS showed no tail, no evaporation of gas, no dust trailing behind it. It was moving through the sun's radiation completely clean, like a silent machine gliding through space. Its rotation was another puzzle. While most small bodies tumble chaotically, Atlas spun with remarkable precision, once every 6 hours, steady and even, like a clock. Not a single flicker or irregular wobble. For natural bodies, chaos is the rule. For Atlas, order was absolute. And then there was the strange brightness. Observations revealed that Atlas was reflecting light at least 3 times stronger than any asteroid of its size should. Its surface acted almost like polished metal, bouncing back sunlight in a way no dust-coated rock ever could. Even the angle of reflection seemed too perfect. Put together, these characteristics didn't describe a comet, an asteroid, or any naturally occurring shard of matter. Instead, they raised a far deeper question. Was Atlas simply a strange visitor from the depths of interstellar space, or was its perfection the trace of a design? It looked less like a piece of debris and more like an object with purpose. The first truly inexplicable clue came with its heat signature. Using infrared instruments, astronomers detected that Atlas's core was not silent. It pulsed. Every 4 hours, like a slow heartbeat, the object brightened in the infrared spectrum, releasing a wave of thermal radiation before dimming again. This wasn't random. The cycle was precise, regular, and repeated without fail. Natural bodies do not breathe like this. A comet heating under the sun would flare unpredictably. An asteroid might warm slowly, but never on cue, never with such mechanical regularity. Yet Atlas followed its hidden rhythm with the discipline of an engine. Scientists proposed theories. Could it be interacting with solar particles in some unknown way? Could underground pockets of material be venting in cycles? None of the models worked. The pulse was too controlled, too measured. One researcher described it in haunting terms. It was like listening to a clock tick in the darkness of space. If so, then whose clock was it? The heat told scientists something undeniable. Atlas was not behaving like a cold relic of interstellar drift. It was alive with rhythm, and that rhythm felt deliberate. As if the pulsing heat wasn't enough, another revelation soon followed. Radio telescopes tuned their antennas toward Atlas, just to see if anything unusual might emerge. What they discovered stunned the scientific community. Every 4 hours, the exact same interval as the thermal pulse, a burst of radio waves echoed across the void, perfectly synchronized. Each pulse mirrored the heat emission like a twin heartbeat, one visible, one invisible, stitched together across the spectrum. This was no static, no background noise. The signals were narrow, clean, and repetitive, unlike the chaotic radiation produced by stars or cosmic objects. Even stranger, the signals looked the same whether detected from Puerto Rico, the United States, Europe, or China. Multiple observatories across the planet confirmed them, removing any doubt about errors. Throughout history, radio waves have been humanity's own tool to search for life. SETI, for decades, scanned the heavens hoping to catch a pattern that would prove intelligence beyond Earth. Now, uninvited, one had arrived. So the question turned chilling. Was Atlas simply radiating energy we happened to notice? Or was it sending a message? By August 2025, Atlas went from strange to alarming. Careful tracking of its orbit revealed something that should have been impossible. The object altered its path. Not a minor drift, not a gentle push from solar winds or a gravitational nudge. It changed direction in a way that looked deliberate. Astronomers calculated the movement and discovered something chilling. The adjustment coincided with a sudden 40% increase in its brightness. As if, at the exact moment of the maneuver, something on Atlas activated. Natural forces cannot explain this. Comets sometimes shift slightly when gas vents propel them, but such jets are chaotic, uneven, and never synchronized with a predictable flash of light. Here, the two events overlapped perfectly. A pulse of energy, a change in course, cause and effect. To some, it looked like thrusters firing. To others, control surfaces shifting. To skeptics, it was still an unsolved coincidence. But no one could deny what the data showed. Atlas was not simply falling on a passive cosmic journey. It was choosing where to go. And disturbingly, its new trajectory brought it closer to us. When astronomers broke down the spectrum of light from Atlas, expecting the usual cosmic fingerprints, what they found deepened the enigma. Instead of familiar signatures of ice, carbon, or simple silicates, the readings revealed something radically different. There were traces of rare metals, platinum, iridium, and even tungsten, materials that do exist in space, but in minute quantities, usually buried deep inside planetary cores. Yet, Atlas's spectrum displayed them in surprising abundance, as if its very surface had been layered with engineered alloys. Even more unsettling, several spectral lines did not match any entry in known databases of natural chemical compounds. They were simply unclassified. Some researchers cautiously suggested they might represent exotic materials formed only in industrial processes. Others went further, speculating that these were composites unknown to Earth entirely, alien substances forged under conditions humanity had never replicated. For naturalists, these results were a puzzle. For skeptics, a coincidence. But for those who dared to imagine something more, the conclusion was almost unavoidable. Atlas might not only carry alien chemistry, it might be alien technology itself. And the deeper scientists looked, the more it resembled not a rock, but a structure. As the evidence piled up, scientists faced a haunting question. If Atlas was not entirely natural, then what was it? To seek an answer, a bold experiment was proposed. For decades, SETI had dreamed of sending a message outward. A universal signal designed to speak not in language, but in mathematics. Now, for the first time, that opportunity had arrived. A sequence of prime numbers, ratios of pi, and the speed of light coded into radio pulses was transmitted directly toward Atlas. The message was simple, elegant, unmistakably artificial. If something were listening, these were the patterns it could not mistake for chance. Then, hours later, the telescopes recorded something extraordinary. At precisely the same time window from the previous transmission, a return pulse arrived. It wasn't static, it wasn't a garbled burst, but a clean echo, measured, deliberate, mirroring the frame of what we had sent. At first, control rooms fell silent. No one wanted to call it contact. No one dared to say those words. Yet the implications were impossible to ignore. A whisper had traveled back across the void, aligned not with chaos, but with intention. Some researchers called it coincidence. Others insisted it was confirmation. Humanity, for the first time, stood on the edge of a reply. By September, the mystery of Atlas had grown too large for science to contain. Observatories around the world published conflicting interpretations, but none could explain the pattern of heat pulses, the radio signals, or the sudden change of trajectory. Models collapsed one after another, leaving blank pages where answers should have been. Then, something shifted. Access to data began to close. Live feeds, once shared in real time, were restricted. Requests for transparency were deflected by agencies citing security concerns. What once was public knowledge now became whispers and fragments. For the scientific community, this silence spoke louder than any official statement. Meanwhile, the object continued on its path. Calculations showed that Atlas would make its closest approach to Earth within weeks, passing nearer than Mars, close enough for instruments and perhaps for something else. Its speed remained high, but its alterations of course revealed an unsettling truth. Atlas was not drifting, it was navigating, and so the tension grew unbearable. What is it planning to do? Would it sweep past us silently, leaving only questions behind? Or was its approach purposeful? The first deliberate step of contact from beyond the stars. In the cold void of interstellar space, Atlas now carried a weight heavier than mass. The possibility that humanity was no longer alone, and that someone or something was already here. Let's look again at what we now know. 3. Atlas is not Oumuamua and not Borisov. From the very first observation, it defied every natural explanation. It rotated with mechanical steadiness. Its brightness shone 3 times stronger than it should. Every 4 hours, it pulsed like a heartbeat. Heat and radio waves, perfectly synchronized across the cosmos. Then, it shifted course. Not by chance, but with precision, as though it chose its path. Its spectrum revealed metals and compounds rare or unknown in space, substances that seemed forged, not born. And finally, the unthinkable, a reply. A returning pulse that matched the frame of humanity's first-ever deliberate transmission. Scientists search for words to explain it. Skeptics invoke coincidence. Believers whisper of contact. And yet, as Atlas draws closer, the truth may present itself in ways we are not ready to face. So here we stand, united by a question older than history. Are we alone? Or has the universe already sent something to our doorstep, waiting for us to finally listen? If tonight we heard only a heartbeat in the dark, then tomorrow it could be a voice. And when that voice speaks, will we have the courage to answer? Click now and take the next step into the unknown.